Assalamualaikum, students at Jakarta Islamic School. My name is Mr. Aren, and I will be here to help you with your English today. Now, what I want to talk to you about first of all is asking for permission in English. Ways that you can ask permission, ways that you ask for things. So maybe you would be talking about asking to go to the toilet, asking for food or drinks, asking for directions, for example. So what I want to start with, first of all, is talking about all the different ways that we can ask permission in English. So the first part that I want to talk to you about is using the words may I. So may I is like the formal version of English. This is actually the most common way and the most correct way to ask permission. So you would use may I plus the base verb. So for example, have or take, just the base verb without the ing or the ed, and then the thing that you want. So let's look at some examples of that. So let's look at some examples. So you would say something like, may I have a cup of coffee, or may I use the bathroom, or may I sit here. So as you can see in the examples that I gave you, it says may I plus the base verb, so sit, have, or go, and then the thing that I want to ask. May I have a cup of tea? So may I plus the base verb, a cup of tea. And of course, don't forget, because you are asking a question, when you write it, you have to use the question mark. So as I mentioned previously, this is a formal way of asking permission. It is the correct way in traditional English, but in modern English, we would normally use, let's say, can I or could I. So that's what I want to move on to next. So moving on to can I. Now, can I, in, let's say, strict English, can I is not normally, it's not supposed to be used for asking permission. It's normally used for something like ability or opportunity. So it would be something like, I can speak English, or if we visit London, we can travel by bus. Now that is talking about ability and opportunity. Now in less formal English, we would use can, like modern English, we would use can to ask for permission. Now this is the most common way of asking for permission. This is what I would use every single day. As may I is too formal for basic English, for general English. So the way we use can I to ask permission is very similar to may I. We use can I plus the base form of a verb plus the thing you want to ask for. So let me give you another example using can I. We would say, can I have a cup of tea? Can I sit here? Can I go to the shop, for example? You probably see many videos online because a lot of people like to make jokes of when when a student asks a teacher, "Oh, can I use the bathroom?" and the teacher would say, "I don't know, can you?" And the reason for that is because, like we said before, it's normally used for ability. And then the teacher would probably say, "May I use the bathroom?" Because that is the correct way of asking for permission. Now, moving on from can I to could I. Could I is a slightly more formal version of can I. So instead of saying can I use the bathroom, we would say could I use the bathroom. Now it's the exact same form. You would use could I plus the base form plus the thing you're asking permission to do. Like, could I borrow your pen, or I need to use the bathroom, could I go please? It's used exactly the same as can I or may I. It's slightly less formal than may I, but more formal than can I. Now I want to talk to you guys about using do you mind if. Do you mind if. Now this basically means is it a problem if. You're asking permission and you're asking if it is okay if. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm going to the park for a jog, and you would say to me, "Do you mind if I join you?" So the way that we use this is do you mind if plus the present simple form of the verb. So do you mind if plus the present simple. Do you mind if I join you? That's basically saying, do you mind if I join you? Do you mind if I come with you? So I'll give you another example very quickly. Let's say I'm going home and you say to me, "Oh, do you mind if I call you later?" You're basically just asking, can I call you later? You're asking me permission to call me later. Now, moving on to the next one, I want to talk to you about asking if it's alright if. Is it alright if? Now, this is very similar to the previous one that we discussed. We would say, is it alright if plus present simple. There are two ways of writing alright. You can have it alright as one word using one L. So ALRIGHT. Or you can actually write it with two words, so all right. Now, normally people don't really use the second version, all right, with two words. They normally say all right with one word. So is it all right if, let me give you an example. Is it all right if I bring my friend to your party? Is it all right if I eat something else, for example? So an alternative for is it alright if would be is it okay if. Now I actually used this a little earlier in the video, is it okay if. Again, this is used exactly the same way as is it alright if. It would be is it okay if plus present simple. Again, you can use okay, okay, or okay. They're exactly the same. Okay is just a shorter version of that. So, for example, if I asked you, have you completed your homework? And you would say, no, sorry. Is it okay if I hand it in to you tomorrow? So, is it okay if I hand it in to you tomorrow? So it's, is it okay if, present simple, and then the rest of the sentence. So in that sentence, you are asking me permission if you just hand the homework in to me tomorrow. Using is it okay if is slightly less formal than using is it alright if. It's only slightly less formal, and it doesn't really make much of a difference. So now we've spoken about asking for permission. Now I want to talk to you about how to give someone permission. So if someone has asked you for permission, how do you reply to that? There are so many ways for you to give permission to someone, but I'm just going to give you a few examples very quickly. So for if one of your friends in class asks to borrow a pen, so they would say, "Oh, may I borrow a pen? Can I borrow a pen? Could I borrow a pen?" How would you reply to that? I would personally reply like, "Sure, go ahead," or "Of course, no problem." If someone asks to take a photo with you, so for example, can I take a photo with you? You could say something like, yes, that's fine by me, or sure, feel free, yes, feel free. So those are just a few examples of the way that you can give someone permission by basically just saying yes. Or you could actually just say yes, there's no problem. So those are the ways that we can give someone permission. Now, don't forget what we explained previously with the can. If someone asks you permission using can, for example, can I borrow a pen? You normally reply with the same modal. So you would say, yes, you can. So can I borrow a pen? Yes, you can. You would use the same modal in your response. Now, I want to talk to you guys about giving someone permission, but when you don't really want to say yes. For example, if you give someone permission to do something, but you don't really want to say yes to them, we call that giving permission reluctantly. Reluctantly means that we do something, but we don't really want to do it. So let me give you just a quick example of this. Let's say you have a chocolate bar that you haven't eaten yet, and your friend comes up and asks you, oh, may I have the chocolate bar? You would say, yeah, okay, I suppose so. So that means that you don't really want to give them the chocolate bar, but you still give it to them anyway. Now I want to move on to basically how to say no, how to refuse permission to someone. And I want to explain how to do that as politely as possible so you don't come across as being rude to them. So let me give you an example again. Someone might ask you, can I have the chocolate bar? Like we said before, your friend asks you, can I have your chocolate bar? You would say, no, sorry, I'm afraid you can't have it. Or you could say something like, I'm terribly sorry, no, you can't have it. Or I'm gonna have to say, no, I'm sorry. So as you can see in the ways that I gave, refused permission politely, I would normally say sorry, just to apologize for refusing their permission. you could say, for example, could I use the bathroom? And the teacher would say, sorry, you can't, or sorry, you've just had break time or lunchtime. Um, Saying sorry makes the refusal a little less, a little less hard, let's say.